morning, everyone. All right, so today we're going to be going over a new review for the retest for the recent test that you just took. So this is going to be 10 questions. Let's go ahead and get started. So it says, which function represents a parabola that opens downward and intersects the x-axis at 3, 0 and -4, 0? So a key word here is open downward. Whenever you see open downward, that means that your A is negative. Okay? If you forgot what the A is in front of the parentheses. So opens downward means negative in front of parentheses or in front of the equation. So if we look at our answer choices, we see a -7 right here and a -6. So this is our A. This is A, this is A, this is A. All these are your A's, right? So we can already tell that these are positive. So those are eliminated right off the bat. And now we know that if they intersect the x-axis, that means that these are your x-intercepts. So you're going to have factored form. And anytime you put it in factored form, you have to do the opposite of what it is. Okay, so if the x-intercept here is positive 3 comma 0, the opposite of that is going to be x minus 3. And then for -4 is going to be x plus 4. Now you just look at which one, make sure you write down opposite of these. Okay. Oh, oops, I'm sorry. I'm doing this before school, so my alarms are going off right now. So let me just turn those off real quick. All right. So, oh my goodness, where'd it go? Okay, here we go. So yeah, so we can tell that our answer is gonna be A here. Another way, if you think, sometimes you might struggle remembering all of this, you could just type these in Desmos and just see which one is opening downward and which one crosses the x-axis at these 2 points. So you can do it by hand or you could use Desmos. All right, next one. What is the axis of symmetry for a parabola with x-intercepts at -8 and 12, 0? So anytime you are working, anytime they give you x-intercepts, just know that this is factored form. And the formula and the factored form is whenever it's like ax minus r1 and then x minus r2. The -8 is your r1 and then the 12 is your r2. Okay, and the axis of symmetry, I'm gonna put AOS for axis of symmetry. The formula is going to be x equals r1 plus r2 divided by 2. So we just plug it in. What is my r1? My r1, we said it was -8 plus r2, we said it was 12 divided by 2. Okay, you put this in the calculator, -8 plus 12, that's 4 divided by 2 gives you 2. Or just put this entire thing in the calculator and it gives you 2. Okay, so the answer is 2. All right, moving on. All right, number 3. Which function represents a parabola that is translated 2 units to the left and 6 units down from the parent function f of x equals x squared? So you have to remember, if you want to use Desmos here, or actually we are going to use Desmos here. I'm going to show you how to do it in Desmos, and then I'm going to show you how to do it by hand. So anytime you want to do it in Desmos, you first, you have your first line on Desmos. You're going to always type in the original, which is your parent function, f of x equals x squared. So this is going to be in line 1, okay, in decimals. In line 2, you're going to type in the answer choices. So line 2, type in answers. And you're going to see which one it moved, because the x squared is going to start at the origin. You're going to see which one moved 2 units to the left and 6 units down. So let's see. I'm going to pull up my decimals. Where is it? Okay, so I'm going to type in f of x equals x squared. So it's easy how it starts at the origin. It's always going to start at the origin. Now you type in your answer choices. So I'm going to type in the first one. F of x equals 7 parentheses x plus 2 squared. Oh, and then I forgot something. Minus 6. So did that one move 2 units to the left? Well, let's look at the vertex. You always want to look at the vertex here. Okay. If it moves to the left or to the right, that means that the x-axis is being affected. So let's look at the x values right here. At the origin is at 0, and if it moves 2 to the left, that means it's going to be -2, right? Is it -2? Yes, it is. And then if it's moving up and down, that means that it's the y-axis is being affected. So we look at the y value. For the origin, the y value is 0, and then we look at the y value of the second one that we typed in, and it's -6. So that means that yes, it did move down 6, and you can visually see it as well, right? It moved 2 to the left, down 6. So yeah, we just found our answer. Our answer is A. Okay. If you wanted to do this by hand, just remember that x minus c, if you have x minus c, that means that it's moving to the right, c units. And if you have x plus c, that means it's moving to the left. My goodness, let me erase this. I messed up. Left c units, whatever that number is, right? In this case being 2. Because you do the opposite. You do the opposite of what your brain tells you to do. So you would think x minus c, well, all the negatives on the line are on the left side. No, you do the opposite of that because parentheses lines. And then the 6 down, anything that is going to be vertical is always going to be outside of the parentheses. So that is if you have x minus c, that would be like your plus d, right? That's going to be at the end, or is going to be minus d. In this case, it is minus d because you went down 6 units. So that's how you do it, just without decimals, if you can remember that. If not, just use decimals, it's fine. All right, moving on. What is the domain and range of the function represented by the graph? So domain and range, well, first of all, we have to make a side note that domain or quadratic functions is always all real numbers. Unless it's a word problem, okay? This is for if it's a graph. If it's a word problem, it's a little bit different. So this is always going to be true. This is really important for you to know. That means that if we look at our answer choices, I can eliminate B and C, right? And then for the range, look at the y value of your vertex. So this is my vertex. The point here is 3, -4. This is my x, this is my y. That means that my range is -4. Now I had to figure out, is it going to be less than or equal to -4 or greater than or equal to -4? Well, whenever you have a graph going up and the vertex is at the bottom, then it's going to be a greater than or equal to. But if it's a graph going downward and the vertex is at the top, then this is going to be a less than or equal to. Another way to think about it is you start here at -4, right? If you follow where the graph is going on the y-axis, this graph is going up. That means that it has to be greater than or equal to -4. All the y values are getting bigger than -4, right? So yeah, that's another way to look at it. So yeah, it's gonna be this one, and that makes it the answer D. All right, moving on. Let me find it in my little notes real quick. Okay, here we go. All right, it says the graph best supports which statements? Select all that apply. So we have to see which ones are true and which ones are not true. Okay, it says the axis of symmetry is y equals 6. This is wrong because if I cut this in half, it crosses the x-axis at 6, okay? Remember, axis of symmetry, this is really important. Axis of symmetry is x equals something. Is always going to be x equals something. And if you can't remember that, think about it like this. X is what? X is equal to what? Okay, so right here they try to trick you. They put the right number, but they put y instead of x, so it's not 1. The second one, the coordinate of the x-intercepts are 4 and 8. So let's look right here, 4 and 8. Yes, that's correct. So this would be one of them. The vertex is 6, 3. Let's see right here. We have 6 for x, and then if we look over, this is 3. So yes, that's also correct. And then the last one, the range of the graph consists of all real numbers. Remember, they try to trick you again. They said range is all real numbers. We know that domain is always all real numbers. Range is not, right? Range is the y value of the vertex. So range is y value of vertex. So this is also wrong. So the only two true statements were 2 and 3. So that's how you do that. And if you want to make like a side note, put like domain is all real numbers. Okay. All right, moving on. Oh my goodness, I can't scroll. Okay, here's some extra paper if you need it. Moving on to this one. I wonder if I can flip it. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. All right, it says a quarterback throws a ball with his arms 2 yards above the ground. The graph shows y, the height in yards of the football equation of x. The horizontal distance in yards of the football from the quarterback. What is the range of the function? So remember, range is y value of the vertex. We all know how to find the vertex, right? The vertex is either going to be the highest point of the graph or the lowest point. So where your max is or where your min is. Right here, the graph is going down, so the curve is at the top. So this is a max, and this is my vertex right here. And range is my y value. So my y value here is 25. So I can eliminate these two. And you got to remember, by now you should know that range is y. So that makes my answer B. So that's how you do that one. Let's see, moving on. All right, we got to flip it back now. Okay. The graph of a linear function is shown on the grid. Which equation is best represented by this graph? So for this one, you would use decimals, or you could do it by hand. But for this video, I'm only going to show you how to do it in decimals because I also don't want to make the video too long. So before you type it in decimals, you have to know that the y has to be by itself. Is the y by itself on either the left or the right side of the equation? No, because it has the plus 7, right? So we have to move that. So if I have y plus 7 equals negative 3x minus 4, I'm going to do minus 7 because I have to isolate this y, right? So I do the opposite. And when I do to one side, I have to be equal and do it to the other side. So I put it over here. Now this turns into this, and now I can type it in decimals. And you're going to do that for all of them, okay? So for this one, you're going to do minus 1. So we're going to have y plus 1 equals negative 3x plus 2. Put a box around your y to let us know that that's what we're solving for. So we don't move the y, we move everything else that's in the way of the y being by itself. So in this case, the plus 1. So the opposite of plus 1 is minus 1. Minus 1. Now you can type this in decimals. Okay, you're going to do that for all of them. So let's go ahead and do these. Let's see. Where's my decimals at? Right here. All right, so I have y equals negative 3 x minus 4 and then minus 7. And on the graph, you have to look at the x-axis and the y-axis. So the y-axis, it crosses at 5, and the x one crosses like around, it's not exactly at 2. I know it looks really close to 2, but it's not at 2. It's like around this, like 1.667. So this is actually the answer. So good thing we don't have to type in the other ones. So yeah, this would be your answer for this one. All right, moving on. What is the solution to this? So whenever you do this one, you're going to type in, you could do this by hand. You have to distribute and then combine like terms and solve for x. Or you could, I'm not going to show you how to do that for this video because I feel like already it's too long. I'm going to show you how to do it in decimals. So type in the left side of the equation in line 1 on decimals, and then type in the right side of equation in line 2 on decimals. Look for x value of point of intersection. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that. And for this one, we're gonna have to zoom out a lot, okay? That's okay. So we have 34x plus 95. That's on the first line, right? And then on the second line, I'm gonna put 3 parentheses, 14x plus 9. And at first they look like parallel lines, but don't be deceived because you gotta zoom out. And actually, I'm gonna change the color so that you can better see this. So let's change it to red. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom out. You see how they're getting really close, like around right here? And if I zoom in to make sure that they do intersect, they're getting really, 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 really close. Oh wait, I think I passed it. Right here, they get really close. And you just click on the graph until you get a point. And that point is your point of intersection. So the x value here is 8.5. That's my answer. Okay, so my answer would be, and you can put the, I get a lot of questions about how where do you put the 8.5. You could put it anywhere on here, okay? So let's do here 8.5 and make sure you bubble it in, right? That's how you do that one. All right, last two. So it says the table shows the linear relationship between the balance of a student's savings account and the number of weeks he has been saving. Based on the table, what is the rate of change of the balance of the student savings account in dollars and cents per week? So you should know that rate of change is slope. So we're going to use a slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I picked 2 points. I'm going to pick this one. So I'm going to write it, 0.32. And let's do, it could be any number. Let's do this one. You could have picked anyone. It still gives you the same answer. 6 comma 74. So how do I know what I'm going to plug into my equation? You have to label it first. So this is my first point. So this is going to be x1, y1. This is my second point. So x2, y2. Now I can plug it into the formula. So y2 is 74 minus y1 was 32 over x2 was 6 minus x1 was 0. And you put this in the calculator, and let me see my calculator real quick. I don't have a graphing calculator, so I'm going to just do it step by step. So 74 minus 32 is 42. And then 6 minus 0 is just 6. We know that 42 divided by 6 is 7. So there you go. That's your answer, 7. Oh. 7. And just bubble it in. Okay? For the next one, same thing. So it says, which of these best represents the rate of change? Again, that word means slope. So we're going to use the formula again. Or you can also do rise over run. So I'm going to teach you both ways, okay? You can pick whatever you prefer. For this one, it's really important that you look at the units. Okay, the units are super important here because they try to kind of trick you a little bit here. So let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay, there we go. All right, you could do rise over run. So I start here, right? And pick 2 points. Let's do this one and this one. So right here, I went up. I didn't go up 1. I went up 200 because that's my unit. So I went up 200 over. How many did I go over? I didn't go over 1. This is 1/2. This is 0.5, right? So I went over 0.5. If you put this in the calculator, let's see. Let's put it in the calculator. 200 divided by 0.5. You get 400. So that's how you do it by rise over run. Now, if you think that's, you're going to get confused on that, you could also just pick 2 points. I'm going to pick this point, which is 0, 0. So I'm going to label it x1, y1. And then the other point, which was 0.5, comma 200. This is x2, y2. So then I just plug it in. So 200 minus 0. And then 0.5 minus 0. Same thing, 200 minus 0 is just 200. 0.5 minus 0 is just 0.5. And this gives you 400. So my answer here was C. All right, so that's how you do that, guys. I hope this video was helpful for your retest. Please make sure you're taking notes and studying this stuff. If you have any other questions, if you're confused about something, please feel free to reach out to me or Miss Jimenez. So yeah, that's it. Have a great day today. Bye.